Hey folks, Nathan here from Star Wars Beyond the Films, the Star Wars Timeline Gold, and the Star Wars Reports Rebels Roundtable, bringing you a quick comparison video here. I was asked quite a bit since I do all those videos for X-Wing, and I had talked on Facebook about, hey, I may be interested in starting to pick up those micro machines, and then once I got a pack, I was very nonplussed, so to speak. I was asked, hey, can you do a quick comparison of how these compare to the miniatures from X-Wing? Which granted are more expensive, but which are theoretically around the same size. So we're going to do a quick comparison here of the First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter and the First Order TIE Fighter, this being the Micro Machine, this one from X-Wing, and the X-Wing on the left there from the new core set of X-Wing, and the X-Wing, Pose X-Wing, that is, from Micro Machines. I'll take kind of an upward view of this here. First thing you'll notice is that there is a slight size difference. The Micro Machines are slightly smaller. It's not as easy to see with the X-Wing unless you actually put them directly on top of each other. It's very, very slight in that case, but quite noticeable for the TIE Fighter and such. And of course your capital ships are all, they never make any attempt to try to make these things all proportional or to a particular scale. So yeah, your Star Destroyer's teeny tiny. Detail-wise, I'm actually kind of impressed by the amount of detail they got into the Micro Machines, because they certainly are closer to the more detailed models from X-Wing than I would have imagined. You can barely tell a difference on this video here, but it's things like the little bit of ridges around the front of the engine there and so forth. I mean, it's very slight. I'm actually very impressed by the amount of detail they managed to put into these. Problem is, I won't be picking up any more of them. Why? They're freaking rubbery. Okay. When I got the Star Destroyer, this tip was bent all to hell. It's still kind of bent here, because they're basically just kind of hardened rubbery in their feel here. They are not particularly hard plastic. Whereas, yet nice hard plastic for the ones from X-Wing, and the old Micro Machines were freaking metal. These, not so much. You can bend the living hell out of these things. They are rubbery. I feel like if I dropped this thing from a big enough height, it would bounce back up like a bad rubber ball, like a half-dried out rubber ball. They're just not good quality. I mean, for $5 for a pack of 3, you would expect these things to not be basically cheap-ass rubber, but they are. I guess that's kind of the way the toy industry is going these days, higher and higher prices for quality that dips, but yeah, that's what we've got in this case. So if you're looking for things to display, they're nice looking, but they're easily malleable because they're basically rubbery. Personally, I would go with the X-Wing ships, and you also have the functionality of being able to play with them in the X-Wing game. Now, what I would suggest to you, if you are going to pick up the Micro Machines, make sure that you look at the pack that you've got and it's not bent. These, not as easily bent. I saw some of the command shuttle with Kylo Ren type ship, the one that looks kind of like an H or a TIE Fighter with this part scooshed down to the bottom, and there were points at which the wings were curvy because of the heat, and they weren't straight at all inside the package, brand new. So if you're thinking about picking up the new Micro Machines for The Force Awakens, be warned they are not of the same quality of material as back with the old Micro Machines for Star Wars, but they are significantly more detailed than one might expect, particularly when put side by side with the X-Wing ones. Your mileage will certainly vary. For me, I'm done with The Force Awakens Micro Machines.